103 billion.
Yeah.
If we don't have leaders on every single level, from the youth to business to the public services, and it should be not government. They're
Yes.
not governing us. They are public servants. They are paid to serve and provide services for the public. They're not better than us.
Okay.
We are equal. But unless those people who have the power to do something step up, shape up, cut, the Auditor General has acknowledged in South Africa, we are close to a trillion rands worth of funds being wastefully abused that we know of. And that's publicly acknowledged. What about maybe one or two or three underneath that's invisible? So if just choose 1 trillion, we could have free education. We could have free internet. We could have free roads. We could have free everything for the youth. And so the youth have to be the ones that step up and say, we want what is the right thing. Honest, transparency, open, effective leadership. Politically, I don't care what color, what race, what party you are. I care, can you do the job? If you can't, get out. It's not, we'll train you into the job. Put a competent person there, then you can train. And that's what, when I had my radio station, we had DJs like you, and they had shadow guys in '94 when Mandela was released. And I have a guy, Sunshine, his name was Sunny Boy. I met him in Sandton. I know time is precious. But I met him in Sandton. He was dirty, smelly, under the stairs, but I needed help. So I got him and he handed out leaflets advertising 98.7 FM.
Great.
And we slowly worked with him where he sat behind, he did all the CDs and the adverts, and eventually he ran the entire desk while my brother was at the other side of, exactly like we are now. I met him a while ago. His name is now Sunshine Supernova.
Okay.
He wears a suit more expensive than I can afford. He wears a watch more than I can afford. And he runs the MoneyWeb Studios. He meets guys like Patrice Motsepe. And he had a mind, but you see, he came with the right mindset to start with. And his mindset was, I'm here to build, grow, and learn. South African people, the problem is, I have friends who have restaurants. Most of those people that are employed in the restaurants are not South African people. Because the South African guys come with the gimme, you owe me, you're the wrong race, you're the wrong sex, you're the wrong color. We have a divisive leadership in our country. And the problem is, if you're going to kill the golden goose, all you got to do is look one country north. In fact, you're sitting in front of a trillionaire right now. I'm a 100 trillionaire. I'm a dollar trillionaire. But unless the mindset changes, I don't care what skills you've got, but skill is like a tool. If you don't use it for the greater good of humanity, and that's what business has to become, has to be a force for good, for people, planet, and profit. And so people are spending millions on skills and education. We're going to have people in the roads who are going to have degrees and they're not going to have jobs.
We already do.
20 years ago when I was overseas, it was happening. That people with degrees, PhDs, were fixing the roads and the plants.
Yeah.
So today, it's not about your skill set. It's your mindset.
The mindset.
How do you show up? Do you step up and show up? And are you a builder that you uplift everybody, black, white, pink, green, and yellow? Or are you a breaker that wants to divide? And that's what our workshops do. We unite people. I've been in big workshops where the unions won't even go in the workshop together. And at the end of it, the head of the union in RThe for BHP Billiton, he said, I've been fighting a war that doesn't exist anymore. And for that, I salute him, because his mindset was the right one to build. I will stand with him back to back anytime. But unless you have the right mindset, I don't care what skill set you got, we're going down.
Yeah. Now, I know I've jumped really the cart before the horse, because what I wanted to do was actually just first, let's turn the lens on Tony and who Tony is and how Tony came into being so many things. Although they're all interlinked from what I can see, and they're all quite interlinked. So who is Tony? Where's he from? And how do you get to things like the Swift mindset and the revolutionary workplace? What happened in your life that you discovered these?
The Swift Mindset was a book I promised to write 35 years ago and never took action.
Right.
I had intention, I made a decision, I did nothing.
Yeah.
But eventually I got to the point of its time. Who am I? I'm a light bringer. I'm a builder. I'm passionate about making sure that we create and leave a legacy, and we bring the best quality values. I'm a Boy Scout, so be prepared, but come from a point of integrity. And so here's what I'm about. I co-create a world of more integrity, freedom, love, abundance, peace, and joy. That's what I believe we need in this world: more integrity, freedom, love, abundance, peace, and joy. And I do that with coaching, talks, training, and workshops, and support for those who are ready. You have to be ready for my kind of work. So for all of my life, I've always been interested in, let's use the word, hacking human software. My background is I'm a technical computer guy, mainframe, COBOL, RPG programmer, but I prefer hacking human software. So I've always had this optimizing bent. I've voraciously studied every technology to man on the light, the positive side of life, on how to heal, how to grow, how to improve, how to optimize. And Leo Buscaglia, who's no longer with us, he had a story that he spoke about. His father used to say to the kids, "What did you learn today? And if you hadn't learnt anything, you better go and learn something before dinner." And I live by that same philosophy, whether it's 12 o'clock or 2 o'clock or 10 o'clock at night. My question is, so what did you learn today? And make sure that every day I'm learning something, but my learning is towards growing me, that I'm like you talk about the soul surgeon. If you've got a Ferrari and the technician arrives with one screwdriver, run. Don't let him in your gate. But when I arrive, I have toolboxes and I have trailers of toolboxes. So I've studied NLP and causal systems release training and timeline therapy and hypnotherapy and regressional therapy and tapping. I have a healing technology called Emotionetics, which is a blend of healing technologies.
And all of this was leading on to you being I guess a human hacker.
Yeah, I'm a soul surgeon. We do soul surgery in the workshops. We don't talk about it, but there are processes that we do using appreciative inquiry and visualization and NLP and timeline therapy. But we rebuild the person, because at the core, if you don't have a decent identity of who you are, your beliefs won't change, your behaviors won't change, your actions won't change, and your results won't change. So people go on training workshops, but nothing changes it. It's got to change at your core of, this is who I am. And I am a light bringer. I am a builder. And so based on that, everything I do, literally every moment, every waking moment, you can ask Prudence, we're never off. There's not like, today is Sunday, so now we're off.
So there's no light bringing on Sunday.
This is a lifestyle, to be a builder and a creator, just being better today than I was yesterday, for the greater good of mankind.
Yes, and now I know you touched on the aspects of identity, and I really just want to focus that and zero in on that. In how does one then formulate, or I guess reformulate their identity? Because, for example, there are people that have grown up in very harsh circumstances, social backgrounds that have really chipped in on who they are or who they were meant to be. Now, with those people, their identity at that point in time is obviously very muddy. And how does then that person reconfigure that identity in rediscovering who they are?
Okay. I need to give a caveat. I don't rebuild wrecks, I tune Ferraris. So there is a level, and I've lived with this. I had a female friend in my life who had 9 personalities. She's what they call DID, dissociative identity disorder. I don't know if I can talk about this, but I'll mention it. She had demonic and non-demonic attachments on the personalities. So I lived with that for 5.5 years. I stopped everything to work only with her for 3.5 years. I've been involved in that level of energetic management for 20 years. So if you read the book The Alchemist, Paulo Coelho's The Alchemist, you're standing and sitting in front of the human version.
Wow.
So that's what I'm able to do. It's not that I choose to go there, but I have the tools. So when I arrive to tune your Ferrari, I've got the software, the firmware, the hardware. I've got everything that I need to be able to sit with you and take you from, and I don't go digging in the mud and the deep dark. There are people that have gone through hell. Please, there are. And then they need to go and find therapy and the therapists that are trained for that. Having said that, talk therapy has about a 5 to 10% efficacy, so it's not the most effective thing. So as a healer, I look to give you tools and to give you the awareness and the consciousness to go inside. Level 1 is unhook your baggage. We all have baggage from this life, past lives, whether you believe them or not, whatever it is, whatever frame of reference you have will impact your identity. So in my workshops, in my personal development Life Masters Formula One Success Insurance workshops, Phoenix is about dying to the past and being reborn again.
Mm-hmm.
The second phrase of that is then dragon slayers, confronting and doing the stuff you've been scared to do, stepping up, which is about courageousness. It's about building that bravery, that self-talk, that inner self-talk. And if you want to start to change your identity, that's where it starts. Just think of something, say something inside your head, some negative voice. Become aware of where is the tone, where does it come from? You can actually change that voice. My one is now the luck dragon from the Never Ending Story. But mine used to be, you waste of stupid effing white skin, you stupid, you useless, you never be good enough, which is my father's. You talk about harsh upbringing. Mine was a little hard, not as hard as some people, but I had a very brutal father. You know, a smack and a punch and a kick and a scream once a week or twice a week was part of the norm. So I had to rebuild me, and that's why I am where I am today. Is I had to rebuild me.
Yeah.
And the wisdom that I've gained and the experience that I gained in doing that and testing, and because there are a million things that you can do, but not everything works. And it's the same with my business framework, my revolutionary workplace. There's a million things that you can do, but only some stuff works. And that's what I bring, is the internet now gives you access to unlimited information. But what actually works?
True.
And so the first level is become friends with you. Fall in love with you. Unhook your baggage, unhook your behaviors, all the past stuff. We've all had hurts, we've all had losses, we've all done stupid stuff. You have to forgive yourself. If you were sitting in front of God, there's no judgment. Religion uses judgment to fear-base you.
Yeah.
But the truth is there is only love. And so if you can come to that point of, it's like having a little puppy. You get more from a puppy with love than with force.
True.
You catch more bees with honey than with vinegar.
Yeah.
So for me, phase one is just become aware, become conscious of what's inside your head. How you're feeling, how you're speaking to yourself. There's 50,000 thoughts a day. Then about 80-90% of the same stuff. Start to intentionally create new pictures, because neurons that fire together wire together. So new pictures create new thoughts create new feelings feelings create new moods, and new moods predispose you to behaviors and actions that are builders. You know, for me, things like religion that says you're a sinner. You're fired for your EQ. You're fired for your lack of EQ.
Yeah.
One of the questions they used to ask is, when last did you cry? And as a man, we like to try and be these cowboys, and cowboys don't cry. They wouldn't hire you because we need this sensitivity and this care and this compassion. And so revolutionary workplace is about a revolutionary rethinking. What is business about? It has to be about people, planet, and profit. And so how do you build a business? How do you grow a business? South Africa's entrepreneurship is crashing. Africa's entrepreneurship is falling. The government is not going to make jobs. They promise they will not deliver jobs. We have to build it ourselves through the entrepreneur and small business. But people use profit as the core driver. But look at engagement. 80% of people are disengaged. 60% of people would like to leave their job. So the technician who starts a business doesn't have a framework, which is what my revolutionary workplace is. I have a framework called CLEARx.
Okay.
And CLEARx are specific things that you would need to do, that when you address them and do those things, they impact the bottom line. Now this is academically validated through the High Performance Center in Holland. They've got 6 to 7 or 8 years. They've got hundreds of meta-studies. So they came with a framework. I then took that framework and I then added my 30-something years. As you can see, I'm an old buddy with all my grey. I've added my 30-something years of team building, personal transformation, and personal mastery in the South African context. And I've blended that into a framework, a high-performance framework that impacts the bottom line, and it's called CLEARx.
Yeah.
And the areas you need to address are your culture and context, your leadership, limitless leadership, engagement and energy, appreciative action, positive, safe action, and then mindset readiness. Skill sets we know are important, but the mindset is even more important, and relationships and resilience, or your psychological capital. And then execution, where the rubber meets the road. We can think so much, but we have to do the right thing. And so you can do a million things, but they're not necessarily going to get you to your goals. Yeah. My framework will help you focus down And because we have limited time, people are busy nowadays. So as a business leader, as an entrepreneur, as a manager, what do you do that makes a difference? My CLEARx, or Revolutionary Workplace Framework, gives you the focal points to say, we know from academic, we have a proven framework that when you address this, the consequence will come into your bottom line. When you address that, in fact, you need to address all 6, they will improve the bottom line. And the proof of the pudding is we took a company called RThe.
It's as if you actually read my book, because that was the exact framing of my next question. Where's the proof of the pudding?
I took a government department, we know how inefficient they are, a weekend workshop with an independent development trust. I found out after the fact, the Bloknout, he told me they went from 200 million to 800 million revenue. I don't know about you, but 200 million, that's a 4x improvement. Purely doing the people stuff. I work with another company, Dovale Packaging, in Oxford Conference Centre. I'm about to do their 4th intervention with them next week. We took them from 30 million to 50 million with 2 weekend interventions. I worked with a clothing company. In 90 days, we doubled their sales.
That is amazing.
When I was out of my Canny radio community station, I went to Broadcasting, 3 radio and 2 TV channels. When we arrived there, their sales, the ad sales, which you know all about, ad sales were 112,000 Rand a month. Within 6 months, we grew that to 996,000 Rand.
Amazing. Through the CLEARx strategy. Well, through the revolutionary workplace.
I didn't have it in this framework at the time, but my processes, my systems, my philosophy of people, planet, and profit, my philosophy of developing the person from the inside out, the whole thing of psychological capital, resilience, your identity, all of these things were part of my voracious studies. If you see my library, I probably have 5,000 to 6,000 books, 12 terabytes of audio, video. Prudence will tell you, I have a screen I work on and a screen that I learn. I do 150 gigs a month in downloads. YouTube. Training's free on YouTube, on Vimeo. You can get anything you want free today. It's which do you choose? That's my power that I bring, is being able to selectively focus. When you follow this, it's what's taken me 40 years, Prudence will get in 4. And that's what I bring, is highly accelerated success, real success beyond money. Real success is about feeling. How do you feel? There are people that are millionaires, they feel dreck.
Tony, lastly, is the world and our corporates, our organizations warming up to this concept?
Very slowly. There are a few organizations that are conscious. And care enough for their people. We were with Thuli Madonsela 2 weeks ago. We did a workshop with them in 2008 around the country. And we've been talking to a few of the staff, the senior staff, and the guy said to me, he said, in my 20 years at the OPP, what you did with us was the best I've ever had. It was the most powerful and effective, and the impacts last the longest. There are people, government departments. I was with another friend of mine, Exton from Statistics SA. They're saying, we want this mindset stuff, this mind transformation stuff. It's happening slowly. We still get people phoning up and say we want team building, jumping cast, bow and arrow, and a buddy and a bribe brigade, you know, the games and stuff. But probably 5%, and that's why 5% of people are successful. When I say successful, it's not about the money. It's not what you got. You'll see I don't have jewelry. The more you have on the outside, the less you have on the inside. Very simple philosophy. If Jesus came down in front of us, he wouldn't have 5 pounds of gold around his neck saying, "How's it, my Chinas? How are you doing?" You know, when you are something, when you are really, really at your core, at your soul, a being, a powerful being, you don't have to pretend. You don't have to prove it. You just are. You have that absolute presence. And so certain leaders are saying, I love what you do. When we did the whole human resources senior management for Impala Platinum, every one of those guys said, I want you to do that for my department. We just did Gajima Neck. They've come out of a turnaround, big Robert Gomedi's big turnaround. We did their 85 people for NEC. At the end of it, the CEO said, I want you to do the entire Exco team for us at Gajima. So we're going to a presentation to meet Elizabeth, the CEO, the chairperson there. So once the people see what we can do, they will never go back. the challenge is, how do you show value? Because we deliver a 10x value to your investment, plus.
Yeah.
So companies, one of the local motor companies, they're saying, we want this for our staff for a 2-year motivation, inspiration period. In my talks, we do free talks at times. We have material we give away. We have some of these we give. I'd like to suggest that your listeners can send me an email.
Yes,
I'm happy to give some. I'm a giver. You give to get. But for me, I'm not giving so I can get. I'm giving so that we can pay it forward, because together is the only way we are going to build Africa to be for people, planet, and profit in a sustainable future. We're using the circular economy. Otherwise, we're going to drown. It's the avalanche is coming. If we go on the same path, the tsunami is coming. We need a shift. I want 2 million people in the network that are waking people up to say, we need to bring real, honest integrity. We need a revolution in how people think about leadership, how we allow our politicians. What intellectual degree do you need to be a politician today? It should be a PhD. But you look at Robert Mugabe, who was the most educated president in Africa. It took him 35 years to take the jewel of Africa to zero. China,
because he was lacking in
mindset. He had education. He had skills.
He had everything. Well, I guess from the naked eye that you would think is what you need to succeed.
But he was given a golden goose.
Yeah.
I don't want to use the word on air, but he absolutely smashed, destroyed, and abused it. And I've been in Nigeria. I've been in Kenya. I go to Mozambique. We're starting a church there. I'm spiritual, not religious, but I'm working with the people there. We need a change, and it's starting when I see the young people around me that are saying, here's what I'm hoping, here's my dreams, here's what I'm looking to do. But now we have to just stop the greeders that are stealing the resources. We have the resources. Africa's got all of the resources, but it's been taken away by the bleeders and the greeders. We want real leaders to step up. And we're starting to do youth training. We were just talking earlier, Life Masters Junior. Anybody that can be part of growing the impact, the positive impact, creating a Life Masters family. Send me an email, send me a video. My answers, we're very easy to work with. The answer is yes. Whatever your question is, the answer is yes. Just make it fair and make it win-win. But the answer, whatever your question is, our answer is yes. We're here to be part of the revolution in thinking, in feeling, and action.
And where can people get a hold of you?
Best is lifemasters.co.za, L-I-F for Freddie E, masters.co.za. You can email me at T for Tony, and then DOV for Victor, ALE, at lifemasters.co.za. You can find me anywhere on Google for Tony Dovale, LifeShift, Revolutionary Workplace. If you're out there and you want to be a leader, talk to me. Talk to Prudence, talk to the guys that we're dealing with here. But I'm committed to making a revolutionary difference in the mindsets and the heart sets and the action of our people, because we deserve it. We are awesome people. We have everything we need. Just need to get the right mindset.
And in the words of Jill Scott Heron, this revolution will not be televised. It will be on Africa Business Radio. Tony Dovale, thank you so much.
Thank you very much, guys. I'm really grateful to be here. Thanks for your time.
Cheers.